Attention all Kmart shoppers. This episode of the Not Just Arin podcast is shorter than usual, but worry not. A full-length episode will be coming to you next week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Without further ado, here is Relationships Part 2.
Why do you date, Arin?
Why do I date, personally? All right, well, good question. So, this probably wasn't the best thing for my forming brain, but I did watch a fair bit of rom-coms when I was, in middle school, which, honestly, the worst. I don't recommend that. I just always thought it would be fun to have a boyfriend. I never really gave it much thought up until, I guess, high school, because it felt like everybody else around me was dating and having boyfriends and, all that stuff. And I was just kind of left behind in the dust. And so, I guess that's kind of why I did. But I think later on, as I got older, I wanted to date just to have a more intimate connection, I guess, because honestly, okay, I'm just going to be real. I don't even know why I even tried dating, It's not it's not really worth it. Because I think it is worth it having that kind of connection with someone. It's just that at this point in my life, I don't know if that's what I want at this moment. Because I personally feel like the friendships that I have currently kind of, I don't know, scratch that itch for personal connection already. So having a boyfriend would just be having another friend, I guess, to me. But again, I've never been in a committed relationship, so I don't know how different those two things are. And then this may be TMI, but somewhere along the line, when I was in high school, I realized that I didn't need to be in a relationship to have someone mix my guts. So
it's definitely TMI.
Well, I don't mind sharing it.
Well, no, not the statement itself, just the wording.
I knew it would make you react that way, which is why I said it.
Okay.
So, I have, it's a mini story. I have a mini story. So I had this ridiculous crush on this one guy from 8th grade up until senior year of high school. And the problem with that is that he had a girlfriend 4 of those 5 years, and he also straight up didn't like me, as a person. So yeah, that was wild. But at some point in senior year, I'm okay, I don't even know if I want to be in a relationship with this guy. I just know I'm intensely physically attracted to him. Mm-hmm. And so one day he asked me what do you want from me? And I tell him I want you to mix my guts.
Please never say that again, Arin.
Yeah. So he asked me at that point, okay, are you on birth control?
Okay,
and I'm no. Wait. Okay. Just before we even get into it, we never ended up doing anything. Okay. But I feel like this is a learning story for my fellow ladies.
Okay, wait. I want you to, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I want you to recap the last bit you said. But understand, it's not just TMI for me necessarily, but do you want your mom to hear this?
Well, here's the thing. My mom is involved in all of this.
Okay,
so she already knows.
Do you want to hear all of this?
I don't care who knows about this.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
I'm okay with the world knowing this. Okay. Because I feel like this is a learning lesson.
Okay. Well, I guess cut out that name, the name drop I just had, but it's just making sure you know this, because I guess
at first I thought it was kind of embarrassing, but as time has gone on, it's whatever.
It's more just the wording. What if I'm just yo, I'm dating because I want someone to slop on my knob. It's
But I mean, it is objectively funny.
Yes, this is true, but
which is why I said it.
It's not I want to hear that.
Listen, gotta grow up at some point, Joseph.
We work together. Imagine he's just listening to the podcast at work, and then he just hears us say this, and he's he just starts dying at work, and he's Joseph, I don't know if I can listen to this podcast anymore. Anyway, I don't know if we're keeping all that in, but it was definitely funny. You can say you said we didn't end up doing anything, so you can start basically a little bit before that. Okay,
so senior year, it was around November. I'm hey, I don't even want you to be my boyfriend anymore, because I made this realization that don't have to it's not legally required for me to be in a relationship to have sex. People are already doing it at this point. What, 16, So this is a thing that's happening. I tell him that. He asks me if I'm on birth control, and I say no. And he's like, all right, if you get on birth control, then we can have sex. And I'm like, bet. So literally the next morning, I wake up 5 a.m. because I can't sleep because I've been thinking about this all day. And I walk into the living room and I tell my mom exactly what I just told you all without saying such language. And she looks at me and she's like, just a look of like, good God, what is going on here? And she's like, all right, Thanksgiving break, I'm going to set you a gynecologist appointment. So over Thanksgiving break that year, I go to the gynecologist, very nervous. And before this, I do some research because obviously I want to get straight to the smashing. And different methods of birth control work, or they're effective, like the time frame. So like the pill, it takes a month to actually be effective. And I knew, number one, I don't like taking pills. And I knew I wasn't going to remember to take it because with the pill, you got to take it at like a certain point every day. And I just wasn't going to remember that at 16. Come on. So eventually I settle on one that takes only 7 days to become effective. And so I go to the gynecologist and I'm like, all right, I want this kind of birth control. What's the NuvaRing? That's what it is. But I think I'll spare you the details of everything.
Okay, yeah. The more details spared, the better.
For your sake.
And our audience. Like,
well, they might want to know about this, you know?
What about, I'm just like, what about like my siblings, my mom?
I mean, I don't care.
Okay.
This is like, I feel like people should be more willing to talk about this openly.
Maybe. I mean, I guess we're all adults. It's just like, maybe it's just a little bit more explicit than I would prefer.
All right. I mean, But anyways, go to the gynecologist, get a prescription for a NuvaRing, do all the things that I need to do. And once we get back to school, I'm like, all right, I'm on birth control. What's the deal? And he just kind of, I don't know. We had exchanged phone numbers at this point, and he like kind of stopped replying to me. So I would still see him at school like every day. So, it's not like he could fully avoid me. But I think one of two things happened. Either he said that to call my bluff because he didn't think I'd actually go to my mom and be like, hey, I want to have sex with this guy, so can I get on birth control? Or he didn't believe me because he just didn't know that certain methods worked at certain time frames. So we never ended up doing anything, and now he's dead.
You dropped that on purpose.
I did.
How did he die?
Purpose. Well, this is the person that I told you about. I can't remember when this happened. It's either September or October, but he was murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, you didn't tell me. This is the first time I've learned this lore. You told me about when this person died. I didn't know you were trying to smash.
Yeah, I was. And honestly, that whole situation was just kind of surreal to me. And honestly, I don't even know if I've like fully dealt with it, because here's this person that, number one, I saw on a daily basis for several years of my life. And also someone who I had this strong, not emotional connection, because I feel like that implies that it's mutual, but I had this strong feeling for so long, and who kind of informed a lot of the decisions that I made growing up, including getting on birth control, obviously. And now this person is like no longer around, and the whole situation is honestly really messed up. It was honestly really preventable how he died, so yeah. But that's how that happened. And now these days, I'm not exactly itching for a boyfriend. I am on the apps, and I am, looking for someone, not explicitly to like have sex with, but my philosophy is that I don't want a boyfriend. I want a friend that I can hold hands with and smooch. So that's kind of what I'm on the hunt for these days. And if we end up doing it, then that's cool too. And honestly, the kind of person I am, I can't let a stranger mix my guts, because it feels weird to me. I can't.
Please stop saying that.
I'm doing it on purpose. But yeah, that having sex with a stranger feels weird to me. I don't think I could like ever do that. I don't know. I feel I need to, they have to pass the vibe check. I don't like have to know a person for like over a year, but I don't do anonymous hookups. It's not the tea. So that's why I am pursuing relations with men these days. I think also the idea of getting with someone who's like 27 is like really weird to me for some reason. I don't know why specifically 27. That just feels old. I'm sorry to all the 27-year-olds out there, but you're a little old for me.
Wait, why 27? What is that relevant to the conversation?
Like, I don't know, just
she's just like, you know what, 27? Get out. Like,
well, I don't know. It's just I was thinking about, how I approach dating, and I guess age is one of those ways. I'm not a weirdo who is a cradle robber. I'm not going after 18-year-olds either. I feel like,
I thought you were throwing shade at me.
No, not intentionally. I feel like a good age range for me is like 21 to 25. Even 25 sounds too old, but I am also like an adult now, so I have to, yeah. That's why I date. Why do you pursue relationships?
Well, I think growing up in a trademarked good Christian household, high school and that first relationship with, I guess that girl that I previously talked about, like 20 minutes ago. At that time, I guess, like, short answer, marriage.
Even in high school?
I don't know. That's just the mindset of like the Christian. That's just like the Christian mindset where it's like you're dating for marriage. You know what I mean? It's like no other reason. Like not because you're horny. Marriage. Like and I don't necessarily like disagree with that. Still, I think like
You're dating explicitly to get married.
Well, I think like my mom worded it to me in a way that I liked a lot more, where it was just like, it's not like, it's like, let's say I meet a stranger, like we hit it off, we start dating. It's not like I'm like, yo, I'm marrying her, but it's like, it's more just acknowledging like, I guess we're not, just trying to smash. We're not just trying to smooch. It's like, I guess we can be doing those things as well, but it's like, it's more just being serious about the relationship of this is something it could lead to. And like, so maybe just keeping that in mind when pursuing a relationship and just kind of like taking it seriously, where it's like, it's not like before you even start dating someone, you have to have it figured out like, oh, am I going to marry this person or not? But like, just maybe just having it like just in mind for most of the time. And like, I think I appreciated my mom putting it that way. But I think like with how intensely I felt my first relationship, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to marry this girl. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, all right, I found someone, and it's like, I don't think anyone wants to go through a breakup. I guess personally for me, and then I assume most other people, it's like, if we could all like just date one person and then just spend, I guess like if you want to marry in general, then it's like find one person, hit it off, and then spend the rest of your life with them without having to go through like the heartbreak of like multiple relationships or like the failure of like a breakup or whatever. I think that would be ideal and less painful.
So do you see most endings of relationships as like heartbreak or failure?
No, I think that was maybe the wrong. I mean, I would say heartbreak probably if there was some time and there was some like bonding. Failure, not necessarily, no. Because I think like with the tall woman, I guess like I think like, oh, if she's racist like her husband, then it's like I dodged a bullet. I wouldn't say that's a failure. You know what I mean? Like that probably for the best for more reasons than just her potential racism. So no, I don't view it all like that. It's just more like the Christian mindset, like what I was taught in my like Christian college and my Christian home or college, Christian high school and Christian home was like date for marriage. And that's how I approached my first relationship and even my second relationship. And I think since then, I think like I've changed as a person. I guess I'm figuring out my own beliefs, I guess, as well as my Christian beliefs, because I maybe make like, I guess, I don't know about on here, but I feel like I make fun of Christianity a bit, which I don't, as a Christian, I don't see anything wrong with, but like, I still consider myself a Christian. But I think since then, I think I've changed. And like, personally, I think a lot of these Christian couples that like get married when they graduate, it's like they're not getting married because like, oh, we're dating, like we're good Christians. They're getting married because they're horny. Like,
exactly.
And that I think like that is the straight fact of it. And like, I don't think that's a good reason. And like, it's not like, I guess I don't want to, similar to like how I didn't want to say I love you without meaning it. I feel like I don't want to get married without meaning it. And I know, I personally feel like I'm nowhere near ready for marriage. And I don't care if I'm horny or like, I don't care if I have graduated. I'm not getting married right now just because every other Christian couple is right now. So, but I think like for me, I guess like marriage, I'm talking a bit about marriage when like we're talking about dating. I guess the goal or desired outcome is still marriage, but it's a healthy, I guess, coming from like divorced parents, it's not just a marriage, like they've been married, but it's like a healthy marriage, a committed relationship, and like something that's like, I guess, truly connected, where it's like, I feel like there are probably a lot of unhealthy relationships, and even some of these like Christian relationships where it's like they date for like 3 months and like maybe she doesn't know he's racist, or like they really don't know each other, and they're just like, yo, it's Mixin guts time. We're getting married. Like, and so I think like, yeah, I want that, but like, I think I want more than that. And then I guess, how do I approach dating, and how maybe like, I'm not just like dating like, oh, I'm going to marry this person. I think like maybe just how I approach it is it's almost just like who I like spending my time with, where it's just like, oh, I like hanging out with this person. I just want to keep doing that. So let's just be in a relationship. Where it's just like, I guess my current girlfriend, I feel like we really liked spending time with each other. And I think like with times, frequently comes like just attraction, where it's like in my past, I guess my current relationship and my previous relationship with the tall woman, it wasn't like, I guess I didn't necessarily find either of them attractive right off the bat. I'm just being honest. I think like, no, it's not a bad thing. Like, I'm just saying like either of them, but it's like the more time I spent with them, the more attractive I found them. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that is a good point.
Where it's like, and I apply that to like both of them, equally. And,
interesting.
So I think like,
I think I'm kind of the opposite though. Cause like the majority of the crushes that I've had, it's been primarily physical attraction, not because I necessarily want to like be around that person, because I've realized, you know, at some points, like I may find someone hot, but they may be objectively annoying to be around. So that's interesting.
I think like one talk that I had with, I guess my friend Patricia, in the past was like, not all like, I guess crushes are the same, where it's like, you can have like just a crush in the sense where it's like, yo, that person's like hot or cute. But then like, you can actually like, where it's just like, you don't even know them. You just see them and you're like, whoa, you know, like, and I feel like I've had a lot of those in my lifetime. But then then there's kind of the more serious crushes where it's like, you know each other, maybe you're friends, maybe like, it's like, oh, like we have similar beliefs, like I really get along with this person. And then it's like, that's like maybe not even a relationship. It may never lead to a relationship, but that can be like a much more serious crush.
I don't know if I've ever experienced that. That's wild.
But I think that's where like, it's like a connection, you know, where it's like, where I think you're almost just kind of like, I don't know, drawn to them, which I guess may sound cheesy, but yeah, I think like for my current relationship, it's just like we really liked spending time with each other. And then it's just kind of like, I guess you just kind of get closer, and then it's like, oh, let's keep spending time with each other. And like, I guess let's make a commitment to spend time with each other. And I guess she may view it a little bit differently, but I think that's maybe how I view it. Kind of in simple terms. Yeah,
I never really, I guess, looked at it that way. I don't know. That's kind of wild to me. I don't know.
But it could be like the marriage perspective thing, where it's like, if you're not necessarily viewing like relationships as like or I guess dating for like marriage as like the end goal, then it's like, because it's like, for me at least, marriage, I guess, is still the end goal. It's not like the top of my list necessarily, but like, it's more like, if marriage is like a commitment to like spend the rest of your life / your time with that person, then it's like, you better enjoy spending time with them.
Yeah. I think for me, especially in high school and a little bit in college, even though I made my realization while in high school, the end goal for me was like never marriage, because I felt like, I had to be really sure if I liked someone, if I wanted to like marry them, and that might take time, and I don't know, man. But I feel like the end goal for me was, when approaching a potential relationship, was, unfortunately, gut mixing. Because like with I'm referring to the guy from my disastrous story.
Let's call him Guts.
Absolutely not.
From the anime Berserk.
No. The guy from earlier, I just had like a really intense physical attraction to him, but maybe if I did get to know him better, I might have found him like really annoying in actuality. I don't even know. But like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it just goes to show that we have and currently do approach relationships vastly differently, because, I mean, even now that I've cut out the middleman of a relationship, then it's like, what's the point? But I eventually do want to have like that kind of relationship with someone. It's just that I feel like right now, at this point in my life, I am just not really prioritizing that kind of thing. If it happens, cool. But at this point, I'm just looking for someone.
Stop. Stop recording.
Yeah. So I just want to have fun. That's the thing. But, like safe fun, like not hurting anyone's feelings, making my intentions known right off the bat so that no one gets any weird ideas about what this.
But I feel like that's like, I guess I'm coming at this with my like Christian perspective, but like,
I was raised Christian too. But also at the same time, I don't know if I was ever actively discouraged from doing this. So I don't know. Because my dad's like Catholic. And I would say he's like super Catholic. If you know anything about Catholics, they're like, no gut mixing before marriage. So
I mean, same for Christians, pretty much.
Yeah, but I feel like Catholics especially, they're super duper against it.
You have to atone.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say like, what? I
don't know. Maybe your family is just more religious than mine. I feel like also.
I think my family is. It's a contest I win.
It's not a contest, but I feel like also Black families may approach religion in a different way than like white families do. So my
family's not necessarily white.
Well, 50%. But I would say, my dad's pretty conservative. My mom, not so much.
Wait, there's something I wanted to say of like, I think ideally, like, it's great to like have your intentions be known and like be on the same page, but I feel like that requires like, I guess, communication and like, I feel like, I guess like it requires communication, which it can be hard, I guess, in today's age. But then it's even harder with like, if you don't really know the person that much, it's like, how do you trust them? It's like, they might be crazy, exactly. Like, and it's like, so I don't know.
Well, that's why I don't do like, strangers.
But even then, it's like, I feel like my previous relationship, I guess my second one, I think like, I guess we didn't date for a particularly long time. But like, I guess she was kind of crazy and didn't know it yet. But it's like, if we dated through college and like with how conservative her family is and like we never broke up, I feel like we in an alternate universe we might be married now, but it's like I would only potentially just now finding out she's crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like those things can take time. And like I guess like even more so, which, not to discourage you, just because like not everyone's crazy, but
I'd like to think that most people aren't, but continue.
But it's like it's like my parents have been married for like 20 something years, and only my mom's only just now finding out my dad's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know. I guess like, I don't know. I guess you're taking a gamble either way, but I think like in a relationship, like I guess, what is it? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that maybe in like my approach to a relationship, it's playing it like a bit more safe, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I guess because like, I don't know, did that come out wrong? Did that like...
No. I mean, I think I can see where you're coming from. Like, I guess it's pretty clear that the two of us approach sex differently. So maybe you view it as, the most intimate and personal act that two people can do with each other. I don't feel that way. So, I mean, there is the time-tested saying, don't stick your wiener in crazy and don't let crazy stick its wiener in you. So, like, that still applies, I think. But, I think that's also why I feel like I need to know a person, at least on a basic level, before we can even approach doing that kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, we're just very, very different opinions about these things. Yeah. And I can definitely understand where you're coming from. But I feel like a lot of stigmas can be combated if people just realize that sex is not that big of a deal.
I guess agree to disagree.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that you would get married at some point.
No idea when, though. I guess as of right now, no time soon. For me personally, I think I definitely, I don't know. I guess I definitely still think I want to, but like, I don't know. I feel like right now I feel very unready for that. And so I don't think I will be for like a couple more years.
I personally think, I agree with you. I think it's exceptionally wacky that all these people are getting married like at 21 and 22. That's insane to me. And also, I feel like, just me personally, I would have to date someone for like a long time before I got married. I have a personal rule, and that's that it's not really a rule. It's just that I feel like I need to live with a person for at least a year before I marry them, because I feel like a person's idiosyncrasies that you find while living them can really make or break a relationship. So that's why they tell you to not be roommates with your friends in college, because then you might stop being friends. As someone who has had quite a few relationships, both in high school and in college and post-college, what's some advice that you have for some of our younger listeners?
I guess I would say, like, I don't know. I guess maybe let's hypothetically maybe approach it. I guess I want to approach this how I like talked to my brother about relationships, or like talk to, I don't know, potentially my like future kid or something. But I don't know. I guess I would say, if you can, ideally, like, I guess don't try not to date until you're like a bit older. And I guess that's not very realistic advice. So I'm not necessarily saying that as like, do this. It's just more like, keep it in mind, because I really don't think, like, just statistically, like, most relationships in like college and earlier are not going to last. And like, because there's just so much that can change with like your personality, your career, where you go to college, you're still
maturity levels.
Yeah, maturity levels. Like, you're still a kid, and like, I guess you don't really know as much as you think as you do. And like, I guess if you do get in a relationship like at a younger age, it's like, I would say enjoy it, but like, if it ends, it's probably not the end of the world. Maybe if you're listening to this and you like just went through a breakup, like it's probably not going to be good to hear now, but like I guess the pain, most like, unless it's like extremely severe, it will dull over time. And like, in hindsight, you'll probably look back and be like, oh, like maybe that wasn't for the best, or we weren't really ready for each other yet, or oh, she's racist, like, like whatever it may be. But I think just like, if you can, maybe don't. If you do, know that it might not last as much as you might want it to. And then if you are like, I guess, older, around our age, in your 20s, then I think like, if you're, I guess it's hard to judge this yourself, but if you're a pretty decent person and you find also a pretty decent person and you get along, then go for it. So yeah, I think that's my advice, kind of general. But I think also like what I have said to my brother and about his, I guess, previous relationships, him being 4 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Well, my advice is kind of similar to yours, but also kind of different. My main point is that if you're like in high school right now, or even honestly in college, it's really not that deep. Like, yeah, you'll get in a relationship and you'll have your ups and downs. And honestly, these are just learning experiences for you. It's good that you're going through these things at the age that you're going through them. Maybe keep your drama off of social media. That's kind of a weird thing to do. I never had to, social media was a thing when I was in high school, but I wasn't on it like that. But I know there were people who were. So, maybe don't do that. Honestly, at this point in your life, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. I've been to a wedding where the two people getting married were, I don't even know how old they were. They were like up there in age. They were over 50, right? So you have the rest of your life to find someone to be with for the rest of your life. So I think right now, at this point, you're like 16. Go to school, right? And just know that it's not that serious. And honestly, 5 years down the line, it definitely will not matter to you anymore. So, and I mean, I'm saying have fun, but also have safe fun. Like, let's not go raw dogging people. That's not the way to do it. That's how you end up a father at 15. Perhaps don't do that.
Did you end up a father at 15?
No, I did not. But, there were a number of girls in my graduating class who had children. So, just obviously there's a lot of factors in place. For example, being in a Christian household that can prevent you from getting the correct kinds of information about being safe in relationships. But there are resources out there. The internet is a wide open space for you to learn about things. And honestly, that's how I learned about a lot of stuff. So, that's how I researched the best birth control method for myself at like 16. So if I can do that, then you can as well. So just do that. Set boundaries for yourself. Know exactly what you want out of a relationship. If you don't know, then that's fine. But as you figure that out, you absolutely need to communicate that to the other person. And you absolutely cannot let them cross your boundaries. Because if you let them cross your boundaries, then they're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. And then eventually it's like you don't have any boundaries and they're just treating you any kind of way. So,
and they're probably a bad person.
Also that, yes. But it's important to stick up for yourself in a relationship when you feel that that's the thing to do. In high school, a lot of girls will feel pressured into having sex because they feel like if they don't do it, then the boy isn't going to like them. Which, I mean, that may be the case, but he's kind of not worth it if it is. If you are willing to do it, then hey, listen. We said this in our Am I the A-hole podcast episode. You can't stop kids from having sex. We just have to.
You said that. I don't necessarily agree.
All right, you're divesting yourself from that. I'm saying we can't stop kids from having sex. We need to create an environment so that they feel safe and supported while they do that, because it's an inevitability.
Are you saying sex is Thanos?
Be okay with being alone. I feel like that's a really important thing too. Some people are serial daters. They go from relationship to relationship because they can't bear the thought of being alone. And as someone who has been alone forever, it's not that bad. I don't know what y'all are complaining about. It's kind of fine. So just learn to like yourself. Be okay with being by yourself. Because if you put all of your personal value into whether or not you're in a relationship, it's a recipe for disaster. So don't do that. And also just be yourself, which I know is like cliche and kind of lame, but it really is the best advice that I can give. Like, don't change yourself. Don't morph yourself into what you think. I'm speaking from a female perspective, but don't morph yourself into what you think a guy will like so that he will like you. If he doesn't like you, then that's fine. There is going to be someone else who does like you. One thing that's surprised me in my lower self-esteem eras is that even though, the one guy that I had a crush on for like 5 years wasn't into me, there were other guys who were into me, and they were probably a lot nicer. So there's someone for everyone, which, is also kind of a cliche thing to say, but it really is true. There really is someone for everyone. It just may take you a really long time to find it. But again, that just goes back to be okay with being alone. Like, set other goals for yourself that aren't relationship-based. Because being in a relationship isn't the end-all, be-all of existence. And I think a lot of people, especially young people, need to realize that. So that's the advice that I have. A little different from what Joseph said.
But a little longer.
That's true. Well, I had points.
You're good.
That's the relationship episode, or episodes, depending on whether or not this is split up into 2 parts. We are now on the major podcast platforms. Not only are we on Spotify, but we're on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Both are just Not Just Arin. So follow us on there. Whichever one you use, you can use that. Leave us a review on Apple, because you can do that. I don't know if you can do it on Google, but leave us a nice 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that more people can listen to our podcast. We have a YouTube channel where we post full episodes as well as clips. It's Not Just Arin Podcast. That's the name of it. Oh, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Both are at Not Just Arin Pod. So there's that. If you want to have any discussions about podcast things online, we have a hashtag. It is #NJAPod. You can use that to talk about us on Twitter and Instagram and probably Facebook, but we don't have Facebook, so I won't be checking it. But all of those things, I think that's it. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week or next time.
I need to pee.
All right.